This is another one of those products that I like to pick up every year, and Smashbox has been releasing them for I think 3 years now, and I've always been pretty pleased with the palettes. And I guess what I'm talking about is the Smashbox Masterclass palettes. This one is the Masterclass 3 Color and Contour Masterclass palette, and I got it off of Sephora for 65 bucks, which after using the palette, which is what I have on my face today, the eyeshadow and the blush, bronzer, all that stuff, which if you're interested in, I did do that look and the demo and stuff towards the end of the video. I had a good experience with it, so I kind of think that it's more than worth the $65 price tag. There are 24 eyeshadows in it, which I did do some research, I guess, on the trios that Sephora sells, and there are shades in here that are the same as the shades in their trios, which are, the trios are $28 a piece, so you buy 3 trios, you're paying for this already. And from my experience, the quality of the trios is the same as the quality of the shadows that are in all of my Masterclass palettes. I do have the full exposure palette from Smashbox, and that one was the one of the palettes that I felt did not follow suit with Smashbox eyeshadow quality. I felt like they were kind of dry. I mean, not that it wasn't a workable palette, because it is, but it just didn't feel the same as some of Smashbox shadows, like the trios and then the Masterclass palettes that I have. So, in any event, let's jump into the palette. This here is the box. So this is what the palette looks like. The very, very outside is a really sturdy cardboard that's kind of got a paper vinyl feel to it, I guess. And then it's got this rubber bit, or this rubber bandy type situation here that you pull off, and I'm really impressed with the packaging on this one compared to some of Smashbox's older Masterclass palettes. It is quite smaller. Here is one from Sephora, I believe, last year, so you can get a size comparison, which this one here is cardboard and like that rubberized material. But this one here, if you open it up, it's all really hard plastic. And over here you have, there are look cards on this side, and then if you flip the products over here, on this side there's a little booklet inside with face charts, so you can like create looks on and stuff. Personally, I don't really use face charts, but the whole inside of the palette is really hard, durable plastic, and then it's got this extra outside which kind of makes it seem a little bit bulky, but as far as traveling is concerned, that's going to provide a lot of cushion for the palette. And the way that it's put together, this is like a super travel friendly palette. Size wise maybe not, but for all the stuff that you're carrying in it, this may be actually something that if I were to travel somewhere, I would just take this, because I always say that, oh, this would be great for traveling, but like, who am I kidding? I always throw 10 different palettes in there. You know, this one here might actually be one I would just take one. And then on these palettes here, they did skip the plastic overlays, which always drove me crazy. These here are just a nice durable plastic over the top that you can flip open like so, and then the names are printed on the actual plastic on the inside, which I really like. So that is on both sides. You have these plastic overlays with the names written inside. And then too, not only do these come off, these plastic things, it takes a little bit of force, but you can remove these plastic deals here, and then you can also pull these out right here like that. They just kind of snap in there, and they don't snap in weak either. They snap in pretty sturdy, so you don't have to worry about it falling out afterwards. So they snap in like that, but they also have hinges on this side, so that if you wanted to turn them around or just carry one or pull one out or rearrange the inside of it, you can. So I think the packaging on this particular one is a lot nicer than some of Smashbox's older Masterclass palettes. Granted, the product in the older ones is great, as well as the products in these ones. I had a great experience with it. So just zooming in here on the shades in the palette there is a colorful side with some greens, pinks, some purples, blues, and then you have a neutral side right there. And then on the bottom here, I did use all 3 of the contour products right here. This here I think would be a good bronzer shade for deep skin tones, but it is it's a pretty nice contour color as well, but it leans more on a bronzy tone, I think, as opposed to maybe a contoury shade, but I mean, you can use it for both. And then I bronzed up with this one, and it's just kind of a run-of-the-mill good bronzing shade, and the highlight was too yellow for me. I'm pretty fair and I have pink undertones, so this wasn't particularly keen on this as a highlighter for me, but it is a matte satin shade, and so I think it would be great as a highlight in this overall palette, because there is one shade similar to it right here that I did use underneath my brow. And if you were to continually use this palette, you might use this shade up faster, which in turn I can go ahead and use this in replace of that one. So, and then the blushes, I used this one right here, and it's pretty. It's just a pretty pink shimmery blush. So I'm going to swatch a couple of these. They're super buttery. They blended amazing. I used some bright shades, and I tried to kind of mimic, like I used this deep plum here, kind of to try to mimic the plum in the Lorac palette to see if it, you know, would perform the same way or whatever. Much better luck with this palette in any event. I will say, however, that the shades that I did use, putting my brush in there, they did kick up a lot of product when I went to go pick it up. Like this one right here was a little bit dusty and stuff, but even on this shade here, as long as I tapped my brush off, I had like hardly no fallout on my face, which I really appreciated that. So let me swatch a couple of these so you guys can see. They're really pigmented, really smooth shades right there. So the consistency is pretty darn nice throughout the palette. I find that it's pretty consistent. But just nice. Nice. I really like this a lot. I'll swatch one more row for you guys here. That one's kind of faint because it's close to my skin tone, but just really nice. Again, the only thing that I used in here that I wasn't too fond of was the highlight shade as a highlight, but I think it's going to make a really nice eyeshadow because it is very similar to the vanilla shade in the palette, which may be a shade that you gravitate towards a lot, and so it could get used up faster, so you'll kind of have a backup shade in there for eyeshadow, in my opinion. But on a medium skin tone, I think this shade might be nice. It's one of those yellow toned highlighters. It reminds me of like the yellow in the Anastasia contour palette or something, but quality of this is really nice. 65 bucks, I think it's kind of a steal. I think the shadow quality follows suit with their trios, which again are $28 a piece. So also, there aren't any cream products in this palette, which I totally appreciate. They used to include some cream eyeliners. I believe all the ones that I have like the cream eyeliners, which they didn't work that good anyway because they didn't set, and they were difficult to use as well. But this is all powder products, which I just think that's the greatest. I think earlier I said that there was 24 shades in here. There's not 24, there's 32 shades of eyeshadow in here. So. And then too, if you find the packaging to be a little bit too bulky or anything, you can pull the palettes out. They pop right out of this deal here, and then it's just kind of a slim palette. So yeah, I really like this. I really enjoy using it today. I think it's a great buy. And again, I got it off of the Sephora website. So if you're interested in seeing how like the products performed upon first use, like the look on my face, you can hang tight and we'll get into it right now. So this highlight is a little bit too yellow for my liking, but for the sake of the, using the palette and stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and use it anyway. On a Chikuhodo highlight brush, I'm just going to dip into this and highlight here. And I feel like it's kind of a satin. It looks matte in the pan, but it's more of a satin finish. Put a little right here, here, here. I inspected a little further, and it's a little too yellow for my liking, but I went ahead and grabbed a Goss number 13 brush because it's going to fit in this pan a lot better than like my Tom Ford bronzer, because they're about this size here. And I'm going to dip into the bronze shade, which looks like a matte, and just go ahead and bronze up my face. And then with Real Techniques Multitasker, which I used to put on my mineral foundation, I'm just going to blend this out. Like I like to use the little bit fluffier brush often for a bronzer, but these pans are quite small, so. let's take this Chikuhodo contour brush and I'm going to dip into the contour shade, which if you have deeper skin tones, that might work nicely for a bronzer for you because it just appears to be a deep, it looks like a bronzy shade to be honest, but it's pretty deep. And I'm just going to go back here ever so slightly. Then I'm going to blend it out a bit. Now on a Chikuhodo cheek brush, I'm just going to pick up the shade Carnation in the blush side on the tip of that and put this on my cheeks. I'm not quite happy with the highlight on my face. And I got it right here too, and it's kind of deepened into a bit more of a yellow. On my fair skin, it's kind of noticeably yellow, so I'm going to go over it with my Burberry Nude Radiance #1. And hopefully that'll brighten it up a bit, because I don't really like that tone. That's a lot better for my skin tone, so I'm going to now finish off the face with Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Ethereal Glow on just a big Chikuhodo powder brush. And kind of just dust it all over. Okay, now to get into some shadow, I'm just going to prime again with the RMS Uncover Up from the lash line to underneath the brow. Got a lot of shades to choose from here. I'm going to go in with Naked. No, let's go in with Oyster. I'm kind of drawn toward this color. It's like a shimmery yellowish color on a Goss #18 brush. Pick up some of that. I'm going to pack this all over the lid. Yeah, and it's kind of a yellow shimmer with a little bit of a green iridescence to it. It's really pretty. And then underneath the brow, I'm going to take a Goss 19 brush and I'm going to pick up the shade Vanilla, which appears to be a matte cream shade color. A matte cream color. A lot of product falling down on that one, but so tap it off, and I'm just going to go right underneath the brow with this. So I kind of want to test out some of these matte shades, so I'm going to go in with this one right here, which is a deep matte purple color, and it's called Violet, on a Goss #6 brush. I'm just going to pick up some of that and tap it off here and go right into the crease with it. Should we do pink and purple for kicks? Pick up a little bit more of that purple. And then on the Goss 20, I'm going to go into the same shade, that Violet. And it's just a pointed pencil brush, and I'm going to sharpen up the outer corner. Pick up a little more. It's kind of hard to do this when I'm this far away from the mirror, but... So we have a shape that's something like that. Now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's called Peony. I'm going to go do with the the pink and purple thing for fun. Why not? I'm going to pick up the Peony shade on a Goss #4, and I'm gonna put it right in front of that purple, right there. Let's pick up a little more. Bring it up about, I'm going to bring it up about halfway there, and then I'm going to drag it right on the border of that purple and kind of a little bit on top of it. Just give that a blend. Oh, like that. See, I wanted to use that deep matte purple to see how it would blend like in comparison to the purple I used in the Lorac palette, and that blended out just fine. Okay, now on a Goss number 3 brush, I'm going to pick up the shade Papaya, which is a little bit more corally, pinky shade. And I'm going to pick that up on the tip there, tap it off, and I'm going to use that to blend out the top of the pink. So right at the base of the brow and outwards. Pick up a tiny bit more. This is turning out very great. I'm enjoying this. I feel like, I don't know, all funny because I had such trouble with the Lorac 2 when I filmed. I was like, OMG, but anyway, I'm going to take the shade that I put the brow bone highlight on. I'm not going to pick up any more product, but it's the Goss 19. I'm just going to blend this right here. That turned out pretty good. Shadow turned out pretty awesome. I'm really digging it. It was easy to blend, easy to apply. It's bright, colorful, pigmented. I'm digging it. So for lips, I decided to go with the Chanel Natural Lip Pencil. And I'm just going to go ahead and line them and kind of bring it in a third of the way. And for lipstick, I'm going to use the Smashbox Be Legendary lipstick in the shade Pretty Social. It's kind of just a wearable nude pink shade, I suppose. And this formula of lipstick from Smashbox is quite nice. Pout and Pretty Social are the two that I have, and I really enjoy them. And they're creamy, pretty glossy. They last decent on the lips. So there is the overall finished look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.